Welcome back, everybody.
Hello, and welcome back to Saga of the Icelanders. I just love messing you up.
That was cold, Crender.
I mean,
Correct.
you know.
Typical Crender.
Cool. So, as established, we have returned. Did anybody else want any scenes that they had in their mind cooking in the back of their brain?
I would like a scene where I get an epic axe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is there a reason you feel like you deserve an epic axe?
I was just trying to be ridiculous. I'm good. I'm on a day cool high. Don't bother me. Or don't bother me.
So
one or the other.
Like you wake up. What time do you wake up, Eamon?
Bright and early in the morning, man. Got
Bright
shit
and
to
early
do.
in the morning. Are Ingeborg and Erland still out drinking tea when you get up? Are you early enough for that, or are you a little bit after?
I don't know. How early is that?
The crows.
I figured that was like 4:30 a.m.
Sure.
Okay. So I guess you get up and you start heading out of your room. But as you're heading out of your room, like someone steps into your doorway and bumps into you. It's a much smaller person than yourself. You sort of shake the sand out of your eyes and look down, and it's Aslog.
How's she looking? No, I'm just kidding.
NyQuil, hi Maggie is entertaining. Okay, all right.
Not NyQuil. I'd be passed out if it was NyQuil.
For real though, Steven, how's she looking?
She's looking pretty fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was joking.
She sort of shakes her head, says, "Oh, I am sorry. Oh, Eamon, you are the huskarl of our old neighbor Rovik, aren't you?"
He nods, or I nod.
She nods. She says, "My lord Liat has heard of you. He will wish to speak with you. Hold one moment. I will return." And she like turns and walks out the door, pauses, looks back to make sure that you're waiting.
Okay. I like lean up against the door because I'm like half awake still.
Okay. She's got that thing going on where like her fur isn't quite long enough to like really comfortably cover her. So like, it swings, you catch a little bit of butt as she goes. Yeah, exactly.
A little booty.
A little booty.
She's called Aslog for nothing. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. God. So bad.
I'm so terrible. This is rated R, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, it's definitely a rated R role play.
Actually, no, for real though. What is her name?
Aslaug. Aslog.
Yeah, Aslog. It's not Aslog.
Is she the priestess? Yeah, she's the priestess. She was just coming from drinking.
That little bitty Aslog. I love that name.
So she returns after like 3 or 4 minutes, and you hear like the heavy footsteps of a larger person joining her. She comes back and she says, "Eamon, my lord wished to speak with you." And she sort of steps back aside, and Liat is there. And he's like only got like, some leather pants on that he's just tied with a drawstring or something like that. He's like big burly guy, muscular, like hairy chest. He smiles broadly when he sees you. He says, "Eamon, good morning. Did you sleep well? How did my hospitality fare you over the night?"
Good morning to you. Fed me quite well. I don't know why I have all of a sudden a weird accent, but I do.
Awesome. Your accent is very strange, but I like it. Your sound in the early mornings, robust, vigorous, healthy. It is.
You got Crender laughing.
It is good for men such as we to wake up early, so that we may tend to the lands that we own. Tell me, Eamon, I didn't get a chance to speak with you last night. Could you speak to me of Rovik's death?
He kind of looks down.
He says, I know it is recent in your minds, and you are still hurting from the loss. But Rovik was a neighbor of mine. While we never got along incredibly well, I wish to know more about the circumstances surrounding the duel and and his fall. If you can find it in your heart, I would greatly appreciate hearing the words from a warrior such as yourself.
He kind of like looks back after kind of looking off into the distance for a while, and he's like, perhaps we could talk about this over a meal someday.
He sort of frowns, says, over a meal? Well, I could put on some bacon and some whale meat, and we could eat. How would that suit you, Eamon? Are you hungry? Have you an appetite this morning? I'll get some mead.
Perhaps that will do.
Ah, excellent, excellent. He strolls out to the low hearth fire where you two are finishing off your tea, Ingeborg and Erland, and he shoots Erland a dark look. His face is just scowling. Then he turns to Ingeborg, says, "So I see you've made a friend."
You could say that.
Well, watch yourself with this one. You may not have honor like a man, but I'm certain that he could find some way to insult you or something. Anyway, he's your problem now. And he stalks off to the other end of the longhouse where he's got like some sort of a storage container. He opens it up and pulls out some chilled hunks of meat, some salted pork belly. He carries it back towards Eamon's room.
He's just gonna bring the bacon to my room.
Yeah, so like I think your
Yeah,
room
he
is
is.
probably
Yeah, he is.
Deliver it right into my mouth.
I figure your room is probably fairly large and spacious. Like each of your rooms is probably like half the size of Rovik's longhouse. This is a fairly palatial place that Leot has built for himself. There are separate rooms with separate individual hearths in them. It's an ostentatious display of wealth. And he begins setting a fire in your hearth and brings over a cast iron skillet and starts frying up some of the bacon. And then, over the course of things cooking, he runs back and forth, grabs a couple mugs, fills them with mead, brings them to you. You two are just making small talk. Is there a convenient time when you decide that it's the right time to start telling him about what happened with Rovik, or does he have to sort of press you for it?
After after he's cooking for a while and after we're making small talk, I kind of bring it up and I talk about how it was, a battle that had to be done and that Rovik, it was, he felt like it needed to be his fight, but your character's name Hilda. I keep getting Hilda and the other one confused, right?
Hilda
Jesse?
and Helga.
Hilda and Helga.
Hilda?
Hilda
Yeah.
is Jesse. Helga
Yeah,
is
it's like I
Jesse's
just want to make
foster
sure.
mother.
It's been a while. And Hilda, crazy as she is, ran in and I didn't know what else to do. I mean, I have to defend my people. And a mass battle ensued.
Yes. Well, your heart was clearly in the right place, defending your shield maiden, Hilda. I heard rumor that you offered to fight in Rovik's stead. Is that true?
Indeed, but he would not let me.
Well, no, nor would any red-blooded Iceland man. No, it was his fight to fight, and his fight alone, though I am impressed at your offer. Tell me, Eamon,
He's a good friend.
have you a warrior's heart?
Of course.
I know a song about that, I think. Our hero, warrior's heart, something like that. Anyway, tell me of a battle you fought. You've been raiding, haven't you?
Summers, yes.
Yes. Tell me of your battle. Tell me of glory and blood and glorious treasure.
Glory and blood perhaps is not exactly what it is. But
No. Do you not enjoy battling for your people? Claiming what is rightfully ours by sword and fist?
Oh, I do. I do. But sometimes it is much more gruesome than the songs and tales make them to be.
Yeah, his eyes kind of light up. He says, gruesome, yes. Tell me. Tell me about it.
Oh my God. Stephen, I can't talk. I keep coughing.
Go
I'm
on,
so
Maggie.
sick right now. So I basically I tell him a tale of like one summer long ago when I went and I kind of bring back up, Coral and Scum and Hilda and how we went out in search of a new land that we were looking for, that we were told that there would be many treasures. But it turned out it wasn't exactly what we had thought it was, and there were other raiders who had met us there, and we had to battle it out in order to see who would take on the treasures of the lands.
Yeah. Do you have like a scar from that engagement, Eamon?
Sure, yeah, on my like left arm.
Yeah, okay. So you show it off. He's just hanging on your every word, and like, are you just sort of like delivering it very even keeled, or are you like going into the bloody details and really playing it up for his like vicarious bloodlust?
I guess I start off not really playing it up, but as I can tell that he's getting more into it and he wants to hear more of the gruesomeness, I kind of play it up a little bit for him. I'm sorry,
Nice.
guys. I would totally tell tale. I just cannot talk right now.
Yeah, like Liot is really into it. He's like really enthusiastic. Finally, by the end of your tale, like his face is flushed and his eyes are shining, and he's just smiling largely. He says, "Yes, well, Rovik was right to have a Huskar like yourself. It sounds like you are a true man of action. Listen, Eamon, I have a gift for you. A man like yourself deserves to fight with only the best. Stay here one moment." And he runs, and you can like hear his feet like thumping as he pounds on the wooden floorboards of his longhouse.
I lean back and eat some more and kind of rub my beard a little bit.
Yeah. He comes back and he's got like some sort of bundle of cloth in his hands, and he sets it down on the floor. Thunk.
Oh, snap.
And he starts unbundling, and he says, It belonged to a Huskarl of mine many years ago, back when I lived in Norway. He was a great fighter who fought at my side in many a battle. He finally lifts it free of the cloth, and it's a fine steel battle axe. It's sharpened on both edges, though clearly it's been notched a couple of times. It's definitely seen battle. It's pretty plain. It's not very ornate or anything like that, but he holds it up and he holds it out to you. He says, take it. I want you to have it. A warrior like yourself needs a weapon like this at his side.
He kind of like touches the blade and lightly touches it, and he's like, I cannot accept this. This is too much.
Do you reject my gift?
Perhaps do you not have another warrior amongst you?
His face sort of darkens. He says, Amen, I have many warriors amongst me, but I know all of their stories. None of them seem to have the fire for battle that you have just exhibited in telling me this glorious story. I would give it to you, but if you think this gift unworthy of you, then, well, I disagree.
He's like, oh no, I did not mean to offend you. It was more of perhaps you had someone closer to you that would be more deserving of it.
Amen. My neighbor was slain in a duel which claimed a number of his men. I know that his household, Garihome, needs warriors like yourself to protect her. I know that he sort of looks down and then looks back.
Shannon's like, yes, take it.
I know that his wife His wife needs someone strong like you to protect her.
Oh, that hits me
Please.
home. That hits my home, man. Because I think of Gwenhild and I'm like, perhaps you are right. And I could not say no to such a grand gift. I shall take care of it very well.
He laughs. He claps you boisterously on the shoulder. He says, "It's done! Ha ha! Well, I'm glad. I'm glad to know it will be in your hands, in the hands of a warrior like yourself. Now, if you don't mind, I have to go and see to the chores of the household, or Oslog will probably yell at me again, as she does. Those women, they tend to nag so, don't they?
Oh, indeed.
Well, you're a good man, Eamon, and I am glad to have met you, and glad you have shared in my hospitality." He goes stomping off.
Sweet.
Yeah, sorry, what were you about to say?
I was gonna say, I guess I'm gonna like kind of check out this new axe a little bit more.
Yeah. It's incredibly well balanced, very finely made. The haft is made of oak. It's very, very hard wood, polished like to a sheen. The head is made of finely forged steel. Very, very well made. It's an impressive gift.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Hilda, I want to know what time you wake up.
What time is it before we leave?
I figured y'all would probably head out at like 1 or 2 p.m.
Hilda hears people leaving at 1 or 2 p.m. and finally gets up because
Over.
as has
tired.
been stated before, she is taken to drinking and giving zero shits now. So
Wait, did you go with that other guy?
No, I kissed him because I was being just a meanie, and then drank him under the table and he passed out. And then I kept drinking because I'm a cruel person. And then
I dealt you a hard hand.
yeah, and so then I kept drinking and then continued to drink and then probably passed out at some point and then heard everyone leaving and was like, guess I gotta go.
You probably like passed out at the time that Ingeborg and Erland got up to have tea.
I heard them have tea and was like,
Blah. All right, good. So, like, how do you get woken up?
I hear the stomping and the collecting of furs and giant newly found axes and all sorts of crap as people are gathering their stuff to leave.
Yeah.
And it's like thumping on my head, like drilling, the noise drilling into my head.
Yeah. You hear someone say, "Hey, wake up. Wake up.
I just sort of swat like,
Hey."
and make a weird cow noise.
Yeah, your hand collides with something hard, and you hear a sloshing sound, and the voice says, "Oh, hey, careful while you're swinging that thing."
And I just sort of open my eyes and look to see what is going on.
Here, get this in your belly. It'll help you out. And it's Otar. He's standing there. He's holding out a mug of mead.
And I just sort of grab it from his hands and don't even really acknowledge that he's the one who gave it to me, and
Yeah.
quickly just drink it and then sort of chuck the cup on the other side of the room and then just like sort of roll back over
Yeah.
and try to ignore that he's there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's drinking his own mug. He says, well, that was quite a night, Most men can't outdrink me. I'm impressed. I don't know if I told you my name last night. I don't really remember much of it. I'm Otar.
And I sort of like do like a little kind of roll back over and chuckle and go, "Well, Otar, I'm not most men," and roll back around the other way and go back to ignoring him.
Yeah, he sort of like admires your form as you roll over. He says, "No, I can see that you're not like most men. Tell me, do you come here often?
I completely ignore him.
Oh goodness.
I don't even acknowledge said statement. I just lay there and wait for more weird small talk.
You know what, Jesse? That's what all of
DJ
us
Pimp
do.
or
Yeah.
Don't worry,
You just
I'm
go,
channeling.
oh God.
I'm channeling all of womanhood right now. Don't worry, I got you covered.
He,
Thanks, bro.
he like pulls another mug from behind him and sets it down next to you. Says, "I got you another drink. Yeah, me and my boys, we're around pretty often, doing some work for Liot. Yeah, maybe I told you last night, but maybe I didn't. I was actually the one who found that whale that we've been feasting on for the past 6 months. Yep, pretty good scout, if I do say so myself. I like to go walk along the beach, drink some ale."
Sounds like a keeper.
So
I spent a lot of time lifting heavy things.
Jesus. I'm sorry, but someone in chat just said I too work in the Viking industry. I can't handle it. That is
Good.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's like, I see you go Viking. I know, I go
do work in the
Viking.
Viking industry.
Yeah.
I kind of roll back over, slowly waking up, and grab the mead and start to drink it, and then sort of look up at him and go, "A scout, eh?"
Oh yeah, I am. Yes, found that whale. I don't know if I mentioned that. Yeah, pretty good finding a whale. Hard to find those whales.
And then she drinks. She drinks the rest of the mead and puts it down, and then she's like, "Well, maybe you can find me some more mead," and then rolls back over.
Yeah, he's sort of he's like, yeah, I think I can do that. Hang on, I'll be right back.
And before he leaves, I roll back over and give him like a little wink and go, "Thanks, sweetheart," and then roll back over the other way because I got him.
Nice.
In the friend zone, bitch.
He's like, oh yeah, no problem, cutie pie. Yeah. So he goes away. He comes back. He's got like another 3 mugs of ale, 1 for him and 2 for you. He sets them down next to you. He says, "So, guess you're heading back to Gary home pretty soon, huh?"
And I start drinking from one, just sipping it, and I'm like, "Yeah, guess that's where they're going." And I kind of give like a scowl to the very noisy pack of people leaving.
Yeah, there's stomping feet and packing up and pots and pans clattering as the rest of the longhouse eats their I guess brunch by now. He says, "Yeah, well, if y'all over at Gary Home ever need any goods, yeah, maybe we could make a trade. I could come out once every couple months, stay with y'all for a couple days, bring back anything that you wanted to trade to us. If you need anything, I could, I could serve as a go-between between you and Liot. See, he's got a lot of excess here because of that whale I found. Yep, he's doing really well. Everybody here is sharing in the wealth."
I take another sip and then give him a full up and down body look, very obvious, and then I go, "What is it you think I need?"
So maybe for the first time, you're evaluating him. He's actually pretty hot. He's tall, 6'2". He's probably 230 pounds of pure muscle. His legs are like tree trunks. I think we would call them mighty thews.
I like how this is what Steven is telling us is hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has piercing blue eyes and a bright white smile that crinkles the corners of his eyes when he smiles at you. And his forearms are incredibly chiseled.
Are they like tree trunks as well?
No, they're more like tree branches.
All right.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I can't keep a straight face with all of this. It's really confusing. All right, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. So like, does Hilda react to any of this?
No, because Hilda is a spiteful, awful person right now because of the things that have happened in her life.
Yeah.
But she notices, she's aware that this is
Yeah.
a hunk of man meat, and that
Yeah.
should she desire to get some D, it's possible. But she doesn't care because she's just wants more alcohol.
Okay. Yeah. All he is to her right now is an alcohol dispensation machine.
Yes, but she is aware of how much of a catch this fine individual is.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, like he can he smells which way the wind is blowing, and he sort of looks just a little bit crestfallen. His shoulders drop a little bit. He says, well, I guess you ever need anything, then send word. I know that y'all haven't had as productive times as we have over here. Maybe in the summer you and I could go Viking together. I don't know, give me a call or something. Here's my number. Okay, see you, bye.
His number was like 3.
His number-
Is this like the
Yeah.
first, the
an
number, the third telephone? Here's my number's 3.
He probably uses that as a pickup line. He's like, hey, baby, did you know my number is 3?
Oh my god, what inches?
Yeah. Wait, no.
Oh no. Oh man.
Shannon
Whoa,
is-
shots fired.
Ready to destroy people.
Shade.
3 inches?
Mm.
So, all right. So
Get away from me. Ew.
I see that he's a little a little distraught that I didn't immediately fall for his charms, and because because Hilda is, she's not a mean person. She just doesn't give a shit anymore about life in general.
Yeah.
So she finishes her drink and she downs it and goes for the second one.
Mm.
And then she kind of lets it dribble down her lips a little bit, right? And then wipes her mouth.
So many innuendos tonight.
Shannon is out. Right? And so then she walks up to him and she sort of brushes along his side and says, well, if I ever need a strong Viking, I think I know where to find one. And then just turns around and starts to walk away.
Yeah. Camera sort of follows Hilda as she
on my
exits.
ass because I'm
Yeah.
extra shaking it. That
Yeah.
shit is
camera close up on Hilda's ass, and then as she leaves the doorway, it sort of pans up to his face, and it's bright red. He's kind of got this little Viking smile on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
All
how to
right.
put him on. I can keep him around for a while. I won't break his heart.
Cool. So
And maybe if I want some D, I can get it. Although, Steven, I'm gonna let you know right now, you better be prepared because when that sex scene goes down, I'm gonna go hard.
it's gonna be graphic.
It's gonna be super graphic. Just so
We're
you're
gonna
aware.
go
Just,
NC-17.
just so you're aware what you're getting into. You think I'll back down. You think I won't make it weird. I will go.
Well, make it happen.
He'll make it
Steven.
weird.
It's gonna be
He'll
super
go all
weird,
out
y'all.
weird.
It is gonna be super descriptive. I'm just gonna let you know right now. I'm
Because-
going descriptive.
As we all know, sex is really weird, y'all.
It's super weird. When you think about it,
Super
it's
weird.
weird as shit. It's crazy. Think
Really
about it
weird.
sometime. Think about it.
Hmm.
And then try to describe it to people in a way that's entertaining. That's weird.
Yep.
It's weird.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's-
So that's probably what's going on in this guy's head as he's going back out and helping everybody pack up. He's like, sex is really weird, don't you think? Man, why do we even do that? So
Like,
Well,
ancient
for
Viking
procreation,
telephone.
of course.
I'm
yeah.
gonna call my friend number 4 on the Viking telephone. Be like, time traveling.
I think
Edison, is that you, Alexander Graham Bell?
I think he knows what sex is.
Alexander Graham Bell. I don't know. Isn't he
Oh.
the guy who invented the graham cracker?
What?
Yep, that's right. That's
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he invented the graham
He
cracker.
invented the graham cracker
He's also
as a masturbation preventative measure.
Shut up. Oh my god.
Yes,
Oh,
the
my-
graham
What? Are
graham
you
cracker.
kidding?
Hang on, interlude
Are
here.
you serious?
We're taking a
Okay.
time travel
Whoa.
step
How
through
is
history.
that going to protect you? I'm so
Alexander
confused.
Graham Bell invented the graham cracker as a bland flavored food because it was believed that flavorful food and rich food would
first
stir
off,
the
Alexander
passions.
No. Graham Bell invented the telephone.
Yeah.
The guy who you're talking about is Sylvester Graham.
What? Sylvester Graham Bell
All out.
invented
Alright.
the graham
Yeah,
cracker.
Alexander Graham Bell was
I
the
was like,
telephone.
wait, what?
Yeah.
I thought that
Even I knew
the guy who invented
that.
the telephone.
I know that he
also
invented the
graham
telephone.
crackers
I thought
as
he
a
also
way of-
invented the graham cracker. Yes.
Yeah, no, I was thinking both
He knew
of
the
them.
telephone would lead to telephone sexy
sex.
times. Yeah, and so he was like,
Yeah.
"I've made a horrible mistake. It's time
I
to
have
make
to
a
make
cracker."
the graham cracker.
See, here we go. According to Yahoo Answers, Sylvester
There we go.
Graham invented graham crackers in 1829. Graham was a Presbyterian minister, avid vegan, who promoted the use of unsifted and coarsely ground wheat flour for its high fiber content. The flour was nicknamed Graham flour after Mr. Graham, the main ingredient in graham crackers.
And also,
Wait, whoa,
it was a bland
whoa.
food that was meant to lower sex drive.
And
Reverend
meanwhile,
Graham-
he was probably beating it the whole time.
No, yeah, Reverend Graham would often lecture about self-abuse, as masturbation was commonly called at the time. Graham would often say how these experiences were inspired by children eating crackers. I feel like
He
that's
probably
poorly
loved those
written.
children
I
eating
feel like
crackers.
that's poorly written.
It's just got very
This just
strange.
took a really dark turn.
I just
yeah.
love children eating crackers. That's the weirdest
God, it's the
thing I've
best.
ever read in Wikipedia. Like, God is angry at you for
What?
eating those crackers.
Yeah,
Delicious
crack
saltines.
oh, yes.
Those sweet, sweet saltines.
All right, so that,
Damn it.
JP, please. JP, please.
I'm gonna lose it. Okay.
Oh my god.
You had to make it weird, Steven. You had to push me.
Never gonna have this
You
thing.
had to push
Like
me.
every time I see a cracker,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna giggle. Like there's no, I don't even know how I can unsee a cracker like that now.
Can't give us ammunition,
my
but we're going to
God.
use it.
This show is so fucking weird. It's so fucking weird.
So, now that we've returned from our history interlude to the 1820s, and now we're back in the 1100s, just outside of Liot's Long Hut.
Oh, this is the 1100s? The door I touched is older than that.
No shit.
It is. It's from like the year 1015.
God.
All right, back
Yeah.
on topic.
So everybody's all gathered outside. All of the Gari home residents have put on their traveling gear and their winter clothes, and Liot has filled a number of pouches with food supplies, generally like sustenance objects, you know, grains and dried vegetables and salted meats and things like that. And he's got all of these packs laid out, and he delivers a speech to all of you about how his hospitality, his relationship with his neighbors means that his hospitality is always extended to you. You know, he holds out his hand to Gunhild to shake, and she grasps it, and he sort of like tries to pull her in, like for like a hug or something like that, but she sort of like slips her hand out of his hand, and instead he sort of like jerks his hand a little too hard towards his chest, and it just looks really awkward, and everybody's really, really quiet for a moment. And then Oslog steps forwards, and she speaks a benediction over the group, you know, urging you to go with the gods, and, you know, may Thor and Freya and Frigg watch your footsteps as you travel back to Gariholm. Gunhild turns away, shoulders her pack, and begins leading the group off back down towards the coast, and then along the paths that will lead the entire troop from Gariholm back to the house. As you all travel, is there anything any of you want to do?
Yeah, I think as we're walking, so it was kind of established by, I guess, by Liot that I would go with Inkibjorg, and that was sort of decided by him, not anybody else. Is that?
Well, like he was like,
understand?
you've got one night, and then you got to get out of here.
Right.
I don't care where you go as long as it's not here. Was kind of his thing. Like Ingebjorg and like, did you and Erland talk about him joining you?
I don't think we did, but I think it was kind of assumed that he would.
Yeah. Did you
So-
ever approach Ingeborg or Gunhild about this?
I was
Errol?
kind of hoping that the tea moment might have been my moment, and then the priestess kind of like,
Interrupted.
cock blocked me. Yeah.
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 So I think as we're all leaving the house, that's probably when I'll like look hopefully over at Ingeborg, and I might even be brave enough to go up to Ingeborg and just say, I have spent much time out here, and I do not know how much more time I will have if I stay out here. I am at your mercy. Is there any usefulness that I can give to someone, to any of you, to take me in?
And I'm like,
Of course, yes. You can come stay with me for a while. However, it may not be permanent, but only until you can find your path.
It has been hard to find a good path. I have no Vinar. Forgive my Molly. I'm still speaking in the motherland tongue.
Well, I can foresee your path, you see. We can see what it is when we get home.
That sounds like hope.
Yes. Hope.
Nice.
So I kind of follow behind him.
Do you her? Do you just stick with Ingeborg the whole time when you're traveling Ireland?
No, definitely go near Eamon as well. And I just compliment him on his new axe, and that it's well earned. And I say, it is only it looks as though it is only a fraction of what your worth is as a warrior, and you deserve much more than that. And that's kind of all he says. And then he kind of like slows to a pace, and it seems almost as though what he just said has winded him. And so he like starts slowing down, and he has to like trail behind everybody else.
Yeah.
So he like just says this and walks like kind of like wanders
Yeah, he
off.
compliments your new axe, and then he just kind of like trails behind.
Do I catch who says it to me when he says
Yeah,
this
you
to
know,
me?
it's me. You know it's Erland.
Okay. I guess I don't really have a moment to really say anything in response, but I feel like that's very flattering.
Okay. I mean, you could just like stop with him, and as you see that he's getting winded, if you wanted to have a conversation with him. But if not, you could just keep shouldering through. Where are you in like the marching order, Eamon? Are you like taking point and guarding the front, or are you trying to hang back, guard at the rear?
I'm taking point, guarding Gunhild.
Okay, so you're
Otherwise, like I would
with
totally
Gunhild.
probably stop, but I tell
Yeah,
them.
Erland trails back to where like Ingeborg would probably be near the back.
Gunhild turns to you, Eamon, and says, "Is that man following us?"
It appears so.
Now, what make you of his character?
His character? Oh, hungry.
She sort of smiles and laughs. I remember last night. It seemed as though, even though he did rightly speak to the poor quality of Liot's cooking skill, he did still manage to put much of his meal away. Well, we do have a number of empty houses on Garryholm. Well, when we arrive, if he is still with us, perhaps you will keep an eye out for him. If he has made it to Garryholm and not split off to go his own way, I think I should like to speak with him.
All right. I will have Vlad keep an eye out for him.
Thank you, Eamon. You're a good man and a good Huskarl. My husband was lucky to have a man like you at his side. And she just sort of tears up and tries to like stiffen her upper
Put my
lip.
hand on her shoulder and kind of like
Yeah.
give her like a little hug. And I'm like, and I, lucky man to have known him.
Yeah.
I need to back it up for just a second.
Okay.
I realized that that was actually a move that I placed on Krendor. I mean on Ingebjorg.
When?
It was my gesture, so like asking for hospitality.
Ooh.
And it says at the end that if they're a PC, it's their choice.
Mm-hmm.
But their honor is in question if they refuse you. But obviously he was totally cool with it, or she was totally cool with it. So, but
Okay.
that means that I have a bond now with Ingebjorg, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that she hasn't taken you under her roof yet. Like she's extended the invitation, but it hasn't actually happened. But when you go, let's roll and let's see.
Okay.
And then you will get to mark that bond. Yeah, absolutely. Or you'll get to gain that bond, actually.
Yeah, I don't have any other relationships other than Liot right now.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
All right. So after maybe like half a day, 3/4 of a day of traveling, suddenly Gunhild sort of holds up her hand and the entire train sort of slows to a halt. And she sort of perks up her ears, looks, and you're wandering through this snow-laden forest. And it's kind of twilight, right? Like it never becomes full day at daytime in Iceland in the winter because it's so far north. But it's kind of this gray, like maybe 8 p.m. twilight sort of light out, even though it's like 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And she says, "Aemon, hear you that sound?"
I try to listen. Do I hear the sound that she's hearing?
Yeah, like the wind is blowing through the trees, but every once in a while it fades. And then in the silence you hear this.
Oh, y'all's dead. I'm out. This is some pretty shit right here. Nope.
Yeah, this is like some
The
haunted.
demons have arrived.
Yeah, like is that what you say, Ingebjorg?
Yeah.
Because like everybody
I'm
stops,
like,
everybody
"Whoa."
goes really quiet, and like you hear the wind whistling through the trees, and then this eerie music sound.
Yeah, I'm like,
Could that be the demons?
Gunhild turns back, looks to you, and says, "Demons? What speak you of demons?"
Well, the path we are on is typically heard of either demons or elves, but that do not sound like elves.
And pray tell, Sithkona, what do elves sound like?
Exactly.
Elves sound of much higher pitch than that.
Yeah, she
You know what?
common
she
knowledge,
sort of-
really, if you think about it, this type of
higher
situation.
pitch. She nods and she says, "If these be demons, Sithkona, how can we fight them? How can we fend off the creatures from the other world?"
It's not even possible. There's no way we can fight them off without the correct materials, and we have none of them here. It would take weeks to gather them.
What
Hilda-
materials are
Hilda-
needed?
Hmm?
What materials are needed?
There are a few herbs from far off distant lands that we would have to go get, and it's I can't even imagine the work that would go into it.
Yeah, Gunhild looks very, very distressed, and you hear that sound again.
We don't have any scouts or anybody, right? You don't have any scouts?
I think a lot of people died like 6 months ago. We
Yeah.
Don't worry. Hilda pulls out her sword and shield and drunkenly
Yeah.
just goes, "Fuck demons!" and just walks off towards the noise. I got
Okay.
it covered.
Yeah, Gunhild.
I'm gonna follow,
Yeah,
I'm
Gunhild
gonna
shoots a
tell
look at
Gunhild to wait,
Eamon,
and I'm like, "Damn woman!" and I rush after her.
Okay, cool.
Vlad, when Vlad and I go.
Erland gets his walking stick and kind of like holds it in two hands instead of just one, almost as though it could be used as a weapon, and he starts to like stagger after you guys.
Ah, okay. Erland is like booking it after the warriors. All right, cool. So, yeah, you guys start wandering through this ice-rimed forest, like wandering in the direction of this sound. like it gets louder and softer as you search your way through the forest. The light dims even further. Do any of y'all have like torches in your packs or lanterns that you use to light your way at night? How are you? I mean, I'm sure that you guys have some light source of some sort. What is it?
Well, I have a sword and shield in hand, so I have no light source on me.
Okay. Eamon, how about yourself?
I don't have a torch.
Okay, so maybe it's Erland who comes stumbling up with a torch held high.
Sure. Yeah, he probably maybe Gunhild gave it to him as he ran off.
Don't you get us spotted? Don't you get us spotted?
Damn it.
So does Erland run up and then that's what you say to him, Hilda?
I would assume that in this case Hilda doesn't recognize that anyone has come with her. She's just literally just like
Rage.
fuck yeah. She's like just so tired of living. She doesn't care about anything. So
Okay.
when she hears like demons, let's do it. So she's wandered off. So if there are people with her, she acknowledges that people have come with her, but doesn't acknowledge like who the people are, or what they're doing, or what they're carrying. She's
Okay.
just going.
Cool. Yeah, so would you roll a tempt fate for me, please? Hilda.
Sure.
It's plus your weird.
Oh shit, dude.
Crap. Never mind. I thought I had the brave ability, but I didn't select that one.
Damn.
Yeah, ain't that a bag of dicks? All right. What is it? 2d6?
Yeah. 7. Yeah, not bad. Okay. Yeah, the fates gain a bond with you. But you do manage to like maneuver your way through this ice-encrusted forest following this strange sound of music until you're a little bit outside of a fire in the middle of the forest. And there's a small hut built out of logs, I guess. And there are 3 shapes huddled low to the ground, covered in a cloth you've never seen before, like a brown, baggy, like saggy cloth that just covers these hunched over shapes as they sit, like, and they have something in their hands that like they're eating, some sort of like something they're scooping out of bowls, and they're just like slurping it into their mouths around these fires. And there's 3 of them. You can't see anything other than these sort of hunched over brown shapes. And every once in a while they stop and they sing, you know, In nomine Filii et Patri et
damn it.
nomine.
It's the demons.
So I don't say anything, but I bang on my shield loudly with my sword,
Yeah.
and then and just wait for their response.
Yeah, they all startle and they drop their bowls and like, you know, soup or stew goes spilling everywhere, and they stand up and they're all looking around, and their cloaks sort of fall back over their heads, and they're all bald. They have no hair on their faces or anything. It's absolutely bizarre. They're all men. They're bald on the top of their head, and they have hair just around the outsides. They have no beards. They're incredibly pale. They look skinny and sickly. They look diseased almost. They're staring into the woods around them. They can't see a thing. They're blinded by their fire.
I shout at them, "Be you demons!"
And they said, "Nay, we are but men."
Rock. And I sort of give out a laugh, and I just see they have soup,
Yeah,
and so I go and just grab a bowl of their soup.
nice.
I literally just walk up. I'm like, "Oh, okay," and just walk up and grab a bowl of their soup. I can see that they're the least threatening men I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I just go grab some of the soup and just plop down on one of their little like what like a log or whatever they're sitting on, and just start eating the soup. Yeah.
Okay.
I follow
Well-
her and I kind of lower my axe.
Yeah,
A little bit.
they look astonished as you come out of the woods, but once they see that it's just a woman, but with like a sword and shield, at first they look terrified, But as you just sit down and like pick up one of their bowls with soup still in it and just start like slurping it down, they sort of like look at each other, and they come over to you and they're speaking some strange foreign language that sounds grating and harsh on your ears, very guttural.
They just keep speaking this language.
Yeah, like, you know, they're talking to each other. They talk to you and they try to like, you know, try to communicate. One of them says something that sounds like Jeffrey. He points to another one and says something that sounds like Thompson. And it's clear to you that these are their names.
Jeffrey and Thompson.
Hilda in between like
They have very
slurping
normal
down
names
soup.
for people who don't speak the same language as us.
Hilda in between slurping down soup just like does like a, you know, like Hilda, and then just keeps drinking. And just like, I don't even care what they're saying. I get that. If they want to say names, fine. I just say my name and then just keep drinking.
Yeah.
I say my name, Eamon, and I point to Vlad, and I'm telling, and I say Vlad.
Hilda, Eamon. Yeah, they sort of sit and they eventually, like, you know, they sort of all settle down. Like, do any of you go inform the others of what's happened?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
so-
say, yeah.
As you guys are sitting down and you immediately just kind of like seem to be okay with everything, I don't sit down. I actually like I see all this happen and then I kind of like slink away and I go back to where Gunhild is and Ingebjorg. And was there anybody else there or was it just them?
It was just the three of them.
Okay, so I go back and I kind of I stagger up really winded and I just say, it seems they have found people. They are not demons. They are eating soup and shouting things. I do not understand their tongue. And then I kind of turn and start to motion for them to follow me.
Yeah. Gunhild, she sort of looks at you in new lights and says, "Stranger, I don't think I caught your name."
Just Erland.
Erland.
Erland kind of like hobbles back over to her and keeps his head down underneath his cloak and just says, "Yes, Erland."
Erland, you have done my family a service today. I thank you for that. You appear to have led a hard life, but I think perhaps you have a good heart. Please, lead on. We shall follow you to where these men are with their soup and their singing.
Yes, they pose no threat. And then I continue on.
Very good. Yeah, so she follows you. Eventually, you know, after 10 or 15 minutes, you lead them back through the forest, following your footsteps in the snow easily. You find your way back to where these men have made their camp, and you lead the party of, you know, 12 or 13 people to this area. I suppose, like, some of the people with you immediately set to, like, expanding their shelter and, you know, maybe chipping in some food to their soups. One of them stands up, the one who was talking to you originally, Hilda. He says, "I am Jeffrey. I am monk Christian from far land." And, you know, Gunhild sort of speaks. She says, I am Gunhild of Garyholm. We live nearby. And they talk sort of haltingly to each other, and he offers, you know, to share his bread and his food with y'all. And she offers to help, you know, improve the feast, and, you know, eventually everybody starts sitting down. Now, Ingebjorg, you're kind of like trailing behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're one of the last people to come up upon this site, and as you approach, you hear just like the ringing of like small bells in your ears. And finally, when you step from like around the trees that are hiding the fire from you, you see, instead of a fire, you see a cross sitting in the snow with a man crucified upon it. And he's burning with a bright light that just shines and illuminates the entire area. It's just you and him. There's nobody else around. And his side has a large gash in it that's oozing blood thickly down his side.
I just kind of stare at it, in shock for a bit, just like,
Yeah.
all right.
He opens his eyes, and as he does, you also open yours, and you see the real world in front of you. You see these monks, and they're eating stew, and you see everybody else. Did anybody else notice your moment of freak out?
I did.
Yeah, Hilda, you did.
And I take my now empty bowl of soup and toss it at the feet of what the hell's your damn character's name?
Ingeborg.
Ingeborg.
I toss it at the feet of Ingeborg, and I loudly, laughingly shout like, "These are your demons, soup demons!" And sort of like, right? I was like, "Oh, the broth is so hot." Right? I'm just like,
It burns.
Yeah, it's right. Just doing everything I can to mock her and her inability to actually foresee what they were.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm like,
Oh snap!
Luckily, they weren't demons. They were just people, and who would have known if it would have been demons? That would have been quite a sight.
Yes, who would have known, seer? And then I go back for another bowl and just like ignore her.
Yeah. I think
snap! Shots fired.
as we fade down on the evening and we move into our break, one of the monks comes over to you, Ingeborg, and he like welcomes you and helps you over to a stool and sits down next to you. And then he opens a small leather-bound weathered Bible that's illuminated and written in a spidery script, and he just begins reading it out loud in Latin to you. And that's where we take our second break of the evening. So we'll be back in 5 minutes with a little bit more of hour number 3 of Sagas of the Icelanders. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.